Welcome to the Women Leaders Association podcast, where we believe we go further, faster, and have more fun when we go together. Be sure to tune in each week to hear an empowering message from the world's top women executives, trailblazers, entrepreneurs, and all-around fierce female leaders. I'm your host, Julianne Kirkland, and I will be taking you on a deep dive of each message to equip you with the principles, strategies, and tools you need to start crushing your goals, increasing your impact, creating work-life harmony, and did I mention have more fun? Because when you love what you do it better. The Women Leaders Association is the world's largest women executives association with over 30,000 women in executive and leadership positions who are committed to the development and advancement of women in the corporate arena. If you would like to get involved in a Women Leaders Association chapter, would enjoy daily podcasts, or you desire to become a part of the Women's Mastermind group near you, simply go to womenleaderspodcast.com. Now let's tune in for this incredible message. On today's episode, hear from Summer Craig. Summer is a business consultant with an expertise in marketing, strategy, and digital media. She believes in balancing technology with talent is always the best way to go. Summer is the founder of the Craig Group, established in 2019 to fill the void of growth-focused sales and marketing advisories serving the middle market. Welcome, Summer. Hey, welcome back to the Women Leaders Podcast. I am so excited Summer is with us today. Welcome, Summer.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So let's just dive in. Summer, I want to know, and I know many of the audience members are wanting to know, all this talk around building businesses and babies at the same time. Like, how did you get started? How did that happen? How were you able to scale the way that you did while raising 3 tiny children?
Yes. And for anybody that's listening to the podcast that's currently going through this, I just want you to know that I see you and you're not alone. And it's not ever going to be easy, nor is it going to get easier, but we can all learn skills and tips and tricks to try to get through. So if anybody's listening to this.
Hold on, Summer. We're going to pause on that for a minute because I feel like that is so overlooked, is that comment of, oh, it'll get easier as they get bigger. No, it doesn't. Yeah. It's a different kind of hard.
Yeah,
right?
It doesn't really get easier.
It's not easy.
You learn.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's just now you're learning how to navigate teenagers. Now you're learning how to navigate.
It doesn't get easier. It doesn't get easier.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like, if you're raising babies and you're building a career, you're not really going for easy. You know, that's not really what we're looking for, right? We're not looking for easy, but maybe what we're looking for is having more, being able to find joy. Mm-hmm. Being able to have some skills and some little tips and tricks that create some space.
Yeah.
But is it ever easy? It absolutely isn't. So
right.
It's not going to be easier. Well, I'll dive into my story, which is interesting. I hope it starts with my 3rd baby. So for all of you that have multiples, I've got 3. I have a 10-year-old. I have a 9-year-old and I have a 5-year-old. So my company is 5 years old and I have a 5-year-old baby, which is not a coincidence. But I'm a corporate ladder climber, high achiever, like so many of you, right? Always trying to check boxes and, get the A+ and in a corporate job and, kind of doing the things that we all do. And I had my 3rd baby. And I was on vacation in Colorado, which was just so fabulous. And I remember rocking in a rocking chair, looking at the mountains, and I was nursing her, which I don't know how many business epiphanies have come while nursing a 3rd baby, but mine did. And I had an actual panic attack, like a cold sweat panic attack, rocking my 3rd baby. But it wasn't what you think. It's not what you think I am going to say. So my panic attack and my epiphany wasn't, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? How am I going to go back? Right? It was the opposite. My panic attack was, I want to build something. Mm-hmm. I want to build value for my family. Like, I want to do this on my terms. Like, if I see other people that are founders that take their ideas and they make something of it, like, why not me?
Yeah.
Why can't I have the career I want, have the lifestyle I want, and achieve, because I'm achievement focused, right? Like, but instead of climbing somebody else's ladder, make my own ladder. That's my ladder that I own, that I get to build. So that was the epiphany I had, which was terrifying, thinking about for the first time leaving like the W-2 paycheck, big corporate title, big fancy job, leaving that and saying, I have an idea. I'm going to go build my own company, and I'm going to do that with a newborn. And it was a true epiphany. I feel like it was a message from God, and it was about where I needed to go. And I quit my job the next week when I got home from vacation and started Craig Group 5 years ago.
That's incredible. And then we're going to enter in hair toss here. Toss, toss. That is so great.
We haven't run it into the ground yet.
Hey-o!
Yeah, which is great.
So Summer, what do you think has been if you could pinpoint, I attribute this success over the past 5 years of all my kids are healthy and we're still going strong and my business hasn't collapsed. If you could pinpoint the thing that you believe has been that kind of foundation that has run through to be able to do both simultaneously, what do you think that would be?
Absolutely. It's the grace of God.
Mm.
That's it. Because I believe that I think that we can't do that ourselves. Like you can't make sure that your kids are all good and the work is all good. Like for me, it's being in a state of grace, which is always having gratitude for what we have.
Yeah.
And even if I work, sometimes that means, man, I wish I would have won that other client. I didn't, but aren't I so grateful for what I've got today?
Yeah.
And that being the state of where we live, and always wanting, right? You want to grow. We want to continue to push our kids, want to grow. But there's also this moment that I've really focused on, which is thank you. Yeah. Thank you for this. Thank you for this. And only through grace do we get to where we want to go. And that's actually been it for me. There's no real there's not been sort of a business secret. It's really just been mindset around coming in with gratitude on what is, not just only thinking about where we want to go, what we want to get to, achievement, but just gratitude, and coming at every relationship with that, and really looking at not only my children, my husband, but also my employees and my partners, and just being really, really thankful. Yeah. Glad for where they are, really thankful, taking what we get, right? Even if just being like, okay, this is what we got, and we're happy to be where we are. It just opens up space a little bit more for kind of that, it's almost like it happens for you when you come to, when you come to things like that. You can find yourself in an opportunity, but you weren't necessarily striving, and it was just like, I'm going to let this happen. I'm going to let it be, I'm going to be open. Yes. So, yeah.
Yeah. And you hear so much about, being in flow. And I think it's exactly that, right? Especially with high achievers, we often are very like, okay, great, I achieved it. Now what's next? And we don't even take the moment to enjoy what we have worked so hard to achieve. Yeah. And so for those high achievers listening that can just they can feel that welling up that's happening inside them right now, like, ooh, I want to do that. Ooh, I want to do that, to take the pause. There is so much power in the pause, and say, wow, I am so grateful for this moment right here, right now. My kid's having a tantrum on the floor. I lost this client today, but I'm here, and I am grateful I get to try again tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's exactly so much power in that.
You're exactly right. I have a funny story related to that, actually, that recently happened to me. It's kind of sad, kind of funny, but I had a big client meeting. I was preparing for the client meeting, it was night before. I'm on my computer and I'm, doing the things you do. My 10-year-old daughter had lost a tooth that day. And we're right kind of at the end of the tooth fairy, but we weren't quite to the end.
Quite there.
Right there. I stayed up very late working on this presentation. I completely forgot to put money under the pillow, totally forgot. And of course it's totally on me, you know what I mean? And she comes down to me in the kitchen. It was just me and her in the morning kitchen. And she just looks at me and she goes, there's no tooth fairy, right? Oh, and it's like, there's no tooth fairy. It was like that. So it was the end of that magic, right? Which was kind of sad, but also kind of time. She knew it was time. So it's kind of sad. And then I went to the next, I move on with my day. I have a great meeting with the client. It works out great. I ended up getting the client. So then in the afternoon, it was like just this day of, oh my gosh, sometimes you Sometimes you fail, sometimes you win. Either way, like I'm okay. I'm still like and taking a pause there and just saying, you know what, like my daughter is sweet and kind, and we were able to have a really great conversation around fun and magic and what that meant and kind of silliness. And then I was able to go and do what I needed to do at work, and we were able to come together. And it was just like, we mess up. I mess up all the time. Sometimes it's the other way. I come through as the hero for my children and I bomb at work. But it's like, it's all together. We win some, we lose some, but in all, it's a success. And there was a lot of laughter and some joy, and all in all ended up being good. But it was also one of those things as a mom, you go to work and you're like, I forgot to put the tooth money in, and but it's like, okay, it was okay. We were able to get through it. But as a mom, we again have to give ourselves grace and just find the moments and find the wins and just be happy for what we have.
It's so true. And it's, to the point of, I did a TED Talk last September about how to show up fully as yourself in all areas, right? Like we shouldn't push down the parts of us that are the best parts about us being a mom just when we're at work, and vice versa, right? If we're a leader at work, we can also be a leader in our home and a leader to our children, right? And so often we just silo ourselves and say, oh, I have to perform this way in this arena. Oh, I have to do this in this arena. And so the fact that, you took that conversation and that joy and that magic that you had, even though it was a letdown moment, but it was also this moment of like growth and understanding. And now you and your daughter are moving into these conversations that can be even more in depth of truth, right? And it allows you to, again, have that openness with your clients as well, and kind of show up in that posture of, you know what, I might not do everything right, but I'm going to do everything to the best of my ability. And I'm going to smile and enjoy myself through it. And that's the kind of person you're going to want to work with, right?
That's the kind of person I want to work with too.
Right.
That, yeah, absolutely. And I've got, I've got some stories about that too. I mean, especially working in an industry, our clients are private equity backed portfolio companies. We work with guys that have, Harvard MBAs, and they're mostly almost all guys. Most of them came out of, very elite investment banking institutions. But that does not mean that I don't show up fully as who I am, which is a lot of times I work from home because it's easier for me to monitor my older kids coming and going. And that is it. I don't hide it. There's no shame. Not only is there shame, it's fully realized.
Yeah.
But I find, especially even with kind of the kind of finance bro crowd that I hang out with, it's actually it's refreshing. I think that there's just, people are looking for that authenticity. I think there's a lot of women too that think they have to assimilate and be a certain way. And I honestly, I really, really challenge that. I think there's very few cultures today, especially in a post-COVID world, that don't embrace more of kind of be your full self.
Yes.
Doesn't want to work with that kind of person. And if you're, certainly if you're in a role or you feel that you can't be your full self, you gotta find a way out. I mean, I would say like go pull the emergency exit, and get out. But this idea that we don't every single one of us have aging parents, have pets that get sick. I think that it's like, who doesn't have that? And this idea that somehow isn't a part of work, it's all part of work.
Right.
It's all part of work. Like there's no, like, I'm working and I can't be this certain way, or I need to look this way, or we at Craig Group, don't really have any tolerance for that. We are who we are, and everyone brings their full selves to Craig Group every day. Whatever that full self is what we want. We hire for the person.
Right.
And everybody is fully realized in who they are. And it's even if you have a culture that doesn't outright say that, I think that many cultures I see some movement towards that freedom to be more who you fully are. But in thinking about the alternative, and I think I did that a little bit younger in my career, right? You wear the blue suit, you don't talk that much about your kids, you de-emphasize the pregnancies.
Right.
Don't tell everybody that you're barfing in the bathroom, that kind of stuff. I think many people that have run companies, and they've all done that, but that's not the way to live. That's not fully living. It's not fully embracing your light, but also it's not good for other people.
No,
then it doesn't enable others.
Right. And I think that's so powerful in what you've created at the Craig Group. And there is, I believe, too, since COVID, that is one of the positive things that came out of that is it opened everybody's eyes to, oh, like when you're forced to work from home and see the laundry in the corner and the kids running across the floor, it opened everybody's eyes to, oh my gosh, we are all people. Look at there. We're all people. And when we have the opportunity to stand out like the Craig Group does as, hey, this is it. Like, this is what we're saying. This is not something that's, oh, and this is who we are, right? And this is what we do. And that allows people to feel seen and heard and understood as well. And it's that magnetism that brings people to want to work with you. And that's incredible. And there should be more conversations just like this to allow people to know, hey, if that is not the experience that you're living in right now, there is something out there that is better for you.
There is.
I promise. Even if you have to go create it for yourself, and so I love that. But Summer, what is like one last piece of advice that you would perhaps give to the woman listening right now who is like, oh my gosh, I haven't felt powerful enough yet or confident enough yet to really step out as my full self. Like, I have been barfing in the bathroom and not telling anybody about it. Like, what would be the piece of advice that you would give to her?
Yeah, absolutely. Gosh. And if anybody's listening and they're going through that right now, know that, I've done that. I've thrown up in the bathroom. I used to go travel a lot, and I would sit in the back of the Southwest Airlines planes by the bathroom immediately knowing that I was going to be throwing up. And I was on a work trip with colleagues. So, I think that if somebody's going through that right now, first of all, I see you you will not be pregnant someday. So that's good. But the real key takeaway I would say is that you are enough. Whatever that needs to be, you are it. And if you can't say that about whatever you're going through, which is your job, being a mother, doing both, if you can't really fully get to a place where when you say I am enough, that you don't believe it, it's really something that we have to really practice at it. Practice saying it, practice believing it, write it down, find the wins because they're there and they may not look like you want them to look, but there's the wins. Find the wins, and when you get the wins, no matter what it is, all of your life, say, God, I killed that. I nailed that. I'm enough.
Yes.
And say it and say it all the time. And it needs to be something that we know in our hearts, that's just written on our hearts, which is we are enough. Because if there's this invisible bar you're trying to get over that is, perfection and that's home and work. The dirty secret about that is that the bar's always changing.
Yes. Like,
it's never like, oh, well, when I get to this, I'll be enough. It's like, if you're chasing that, there's no end to that road.
Right.
That's a race that you're running till you leave this earth.
Yeah.
So choosing to say the words, I am enough, choosing that motion, is really my only advice you can give, because that's all we have. Is our own choice about how do we look at it. And we are enough. We are enough to have the big job. We are enough to have the big job with the babies. We are enough to do that. Or we are enough to choose to step back and choose to say, you know what? I am not this. I'm enough just staying home. I'm enough not working. I'm enough. So whatever that is, like, you have to own that truth for yourself, because nobody's gonna do it for you.
Oh, that's so good. All right, Summer, we want to make sure that everybody will be able to connect to you. What social platform do you hang out on most?
Absolutely. So mostly on LinkedIn. Again, we know we're a B2B platform, so mostly on LinkedIn. We're a little bit on Instagram, but on LinkedIn, you can find us at Craig Group. So you can just type in Craig Group, we'll be there. You can also find us on Instagram, and Instagram, we're Craig Marketing Group.
Awesome. Wonderful. We'll be sure to put that in the show notes. Summer, thank you so much. And listen, if y'all are looking to connect with more stories just like this, be sure to head to thewomenleaderspodcast.com. Thanks for now. Bye-bye.